Hi guys, my name is Fatima Zishan and I'm a biology tutor for GCSE and IGCSE students. Today we'll be talking about cells. So cells are basically the building blocks of an organism. They combine together to make up a whole organism. There are two types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are the ones that do not have a nucleus, and eukaryotic cells are the cells that do have a nucleus. Now let's look at some parts of cells. The first one that we'll look at is a cell membrane. Cell membrane is basically the one that controls what goes into and out of the cell. It basically covers the whole cell. The next one is the nucleus. The nucleus is the head of the cell. It contains all the genetic information of the cell. The third one is cytoplasm. It's a jelly-like structure that is present in every cell, and it carries all the chemical reactions in it. Now let's talk about protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is making proteins. That is done by an organ called ribosomes. The next part of protein synthesis is endoplasmic reticulum, which is just a layer of interconnected membranes that are connected from the nuclear membrane to the cell membrane. There are two types of endoplasmic reticulum, the rough one and the smooth one. The rough endoplasmic reticulum contains ribosomes and the smooth one does not. The next part of protein synthesis is Golgi apparatus. This is basically an organelle that is responsible for transporting, modifying and packaging proteins and lipids. Now let's talk about energy supply. So in biology, whenever you hear the word mitochondria, the word that should pop up into your mind is energy. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of a cell that provides energy by a process called cellular respiration. The next one is chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are mainly seen in leaves. They have a green pigment called chlorophyll, and their main job is to absorb sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Now let's move on to the next part called cellular digestion. There are two types of organelles that we have for cellular digestion. One is lysosomes and one is peroxisomes. So lysosomes are basically digestive enzymes that help in breaking down molecules, and peroxisomes are another type of organelle that contains enzymes, and they provide breaking down, but they also protect the cell from oxidative damage. Now let's talk about support and movement. The first thing that we know is cytoskeleton, which is a complex dynamic network of interlinking protein filaments present in the cytoplasm of all cells. Obviously, their function is to provide support and strength to the cell. The next type are flagella and cilia. So flagella is basically a tail-like structure that is present on some types of cells, and cilia are tiny hair-like structures that are present usually above the cell, and their job is to move so that they can provide some sort of movement. Now let's move on to storage and transportation. The first thing that we see under this is vacuoles. We mainly see vacuoles in plant cells, and vacuoles are organelles that contains sugar and cell sap in the form of storing them. The last one is vesicles and endosomes. Vesicles and endosomes are just transporting organelles. They carry materials from one end of the cell to the other end of the cell. That's all for today. Thank you.